Hi, Mum, you alright?
Yeah, all good.
You know that Financial Independence Retire Early article in the Telegraph?
The one last week?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, there's a guy in the comment section that's called me a sado.
Wow. Why would somebody even bother to log in to make a comment like that?
I know it hurt my feelings.
Oh, bless.
Right, Mum, I need to go. I need to make this YouTube video.
Okay, darling. All right. Love you lots.
Okay, love you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Who would have thought a tiny little interview with the Telegraph all about fire would attract so much hate? I did get some love from the Fire UK subreddit though, so big love to the boys and girls over there. If you missed it, which you likely probably did as it was behind a subscription paywall, then you missed out on this stunning photo. It's truly Beauty and the Beast. And it had the following headline: I travel the world, won't inherit a penny, and will retire at 47. This is my plan. I can't say that I said that sentence at any point, well, not even close to be honest, but I understood why they ran with it considering the comments I made throughout the interview. What I probably said was a rambling mess and it needed a lot of polishing to make this article possible. So I guess a thank you to Jessica Beard for writing this article. I do appreciate your work, and if you're ever low on work, then please do rewrite these scripts because they are a pile of garbage. So, if you haven't read the article, what did it say? Well, here's a quick run through. I talked about how much I earn each year, which is extremely taboo in today's society. I went on to say that I believed I could retire in 17 years based on a cash sum of £900,000. I then had a handful of investing and personal finance terms like compounding, a bit of a small debate around the 3% rule versus the 4% rule. But interestingly, and what I was probably not ready for, was the amount of comments that I got, which currently stands at 458 comments in total. So in this video, I want to share some of my favourites and some others that I think are worth responding to. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did. Andrew Smith says, where the hell do you find these people who are willing to share their personal financial situations in national newspapers? I guess somebody who posts it on YouTube already? A person with two first names says, bet he's a blast at parties. What's a party, Giles? Phil would claim you'll need £900,000 to buy a loaf of bread in 17 years, my friend. Hang on, Phil, let's just check that maths real quick. Let me just find out what a loaf of bread costs at Tesco's. Here we go, we have a loaf of bread from Hovis, who actually happened to be the sponsor of this video. Nah, I'm only kidding. Their soft white medium bread costs 99p, apparently. So if we put that into a compound interest calculator, let's say the inflation rate is what, 2.5% on average over the next 17 years? I think that's fair. That would mean it would come out at £1.51 for a loaf of bread in 17 years' time. So yeah, you're close, Phil, but no cigar. Just because I was curious, I actually wanted to know what it would take for it to get to that level. You would need an interest rate of 124% on average per year over the next 17 years for a loaf of bread to cost £900,000. So I guess in Phil's world, we're going to be throwing in Zimbabwe pretty soon. RD says, your first 25k should go into a pension to get tax relief. As for compounding, it's not what it used to be with a base rate of 0.1%. No, flooding my pension is not my idea of retiring early, as it means I'll likely have to wait until my early 70s to cash it in. And secondly, 0.1% base rates. Yes, if you're planning on compounding your money in a savings account, which is likely to be way below inflation, then you're going to have a bit of a bad time. Just a bit of a tip, there's a thing called the stock market. You should try it out sometime. Joss Bolton says, have kids, this will destroy your chances of early retirement. Well, Joss, I have a cockapoo, and a beautiful one at that. But believe me, they are bloody expensive. But in all seriousness, the topic of kids in the comments section was absolutely massive, so it's something I should probably address. I can confirm that I am a dink. Dual income, no kids. Why aren't I concerned about what my investments are going to look like in the future based on this? Well, first off, I'm not currently planning to have children. I'm not even 100% confident that I will have kids in the future. So why would I start pricing this into my retirement model? And secondly, if I start pricing in probabilities, then it's only fair to input the upside, right? I could get promoted at work, my side business could take off, or I might become the new Graham Stephan on YouTube, but only bigger. And when I say bigger, mainly physically. If you have a FIRE plan, then you need to respect the fact that it is only a plan at the end of the day. It can and it will likely change. If you aren't fully open to the fact that it could change at some point, then it's not going to work out well for you. James Mahoney said, well done, great to have goals. Many people lack the power of discipline and there are lots of people who are drain slayers and will look to cut you down. To do what you're doing and travel is impressive. Oh, thank you, James. And to that note, you, Ray. Nicholas Hamblin commented, if he had a student loan for his university, I hope he has set a good example and paid it back in full by now, so the taxpayer will not be losing out. Well, Nicholas, my dear name twin, just to clarify, paying your student loan back isn't optional if you get a salary. If you didn't know already, then it gets taken out of my paycheck before I even receive the money. And just to reassure you, I have less than £2,000 left on my student loan, which will be paid off around February time next year. Anyway, as Ariana Grande says, thank you next. David Armstrong commented, I would hazard a guess that his partner will shortly leave him. Call it a hunch. Hun?
Hello?
David Armstrong says you're about to leave me.
Oh. I'm still making my mind up.
Oh. Oh, cheers. Dean Rawson said, hang on, can you imagine if your surname was Rawson, like a really cool dinosaur? Just me? Okay. Dean commented, then you get divorced, she/he will take their 70% cut, and I am now 46. Not really sure how to answer that, but I'll give it a go. I guess, yes, stats do show that if you get married, there's a 50% chance you're going to get divorced. And for me, my current chances of getting divorced are 0 because I'm not married. If you do get married, then yes, you could lose over, say, 70% of your earnings, but that's probably because you're far wealthier than your partner, or you have significantly higher earning power. So these are all things you need to consider before you get married, kids. There you go. The next one is probably my favourite, so brace yourself. Graham James says, the gym and video games, what a star to invite to a dinner party. As you could probably guess, I refer to going to the gym and playing video games most of the time, other than doing YouTube videos, of course. Well, Graham, it sounds like I'm not going to win Come Down With Me anytime soon, so sucks to be me. I've got to say, even better than that comment though, I love the fact that out of all the people in the world, a Karen came to my rescue. And what did she say? She said, to be honest, I think I'd prefer him at any dinner party to your negative cloud. Oh, thanks, Karen. That's very nice of you. I'm sorry about your first name though. That really hasn't aged well, has it? Robert Morgan chips in with, youth is wasted on the young. Well, Robert, your old age is wasted in the comment section on the Telegraph. Checkmate. Will Coburn, what have you got to say? He seems to have forgotten inflation. Oh, Willie, come on, mate. I wouldn't mind, but I've actually talked about the 3% rule versus the 4% rule in the very article. So I'm definitely taking into consideration inflation and other things at the same time. One of my YouTube friends actually did a really great video on this subject, which I'll put a link in at the end of this video. Ian Dunkley chipped in with, don't get married, don't have kids, and don't have pets. I'm starting to get the vibe that the vast majority of Telegraph readers are really sour divorced men. Or is it just me? Well, Ian, based on your advice, I've messed up one of the 3. Gwyn Roberts says, as long as he doesn't get a terminal illness and avoids getting killed in a road traffic accident. Bloody hell, Gwyn. I thought I was the one that was terrible at dinner parties. You win. The logic of Oliver Harvey in this one really tickles me, but wait for this. He says, great, so when everyone else is working hard paying taxes to support society, he retires to take the benefits of other lifelong taxpayers. Is this to be congratulated? Ollie, I would like to clarify that I am paying taxes now, and I'm probably going to be paying taxes for the rest of my life because of things like VAT, so don't worry. Oh, here's one from Robert. What's he got to say for himself? He says, what an absolutely boring approach to life, and believe me, this approach is very insecure. I would have thought this approach was actually more secure, if anything, but you do you, Robert. Oh, I think the next one's actually pretty good. Get a load of this. John Vile mentioned, where are the family plans? Bearing in mind that the birth rate is well below replacement level. After all, your mother gave birth to you. Well, I can confirm she did. Well, she said she did. But I don't remember, and I'm actually quite glad that I don't remember. Right, John, in all seriousness, I think you have a really good point here, so hear me out. I honestly believe the biggest threat to the stock market and fundamentally society at large in the future, and this comes above climate change, nuclear weapons, Donald Trump, and that is a declining population. I know, sounds terrifying, right? Our economy so far has always been based on the future generations having an increasing amount of people to support the elderly and people who retire. And actually, for a long time, we were more concerned about overpopulation when the problem is probably going to be the reverse. I have actually done a video all about this and I'll put a link to it at the end of the video, but in fairness, it's a great comment, John, and by me not having kids or even putting it off is actually not that great for the economy. And on top of that, me investing and saving instead of spending is not good for the economy either, so sorry, not sorry? Bruce had the following observation. He said he might want to consider diversifying his investment portfolio. All his eggs appear to be in one basket at the moment. Well, Bruce, if you knew anything about global ETFs, then you'll know that they track a massive basket of companies. For me, mine tracks over 3,700 different companies across 38 different countries across all sectors, so I guess it's one funky looking basket. D. Prescott comments, as ever, the easiest way to make money is to have loads of money to start with. I'd be far more impressed with these sorts of things if I wasn't someone earning 2.5 times the average wage. Right, I saw a lot of this. A hell of a lot of whining and generally undermining the whole article due to my annual earnings. Where do I start? I've got to say I find it really frustrating to be told that it's only possible to invest and make lots of money in the stock markets if you earn lots of money in the first place. This is completely false. I managed to save more than I actually currently have invested in the stock markets between the ages of 21 to 26, when my average income was below £35,000 a year, and that money was all for a house deposit, so it is possible. If you haven't started already, then please don't let your salary put you off investing. Small amounts can turn into a sizable amount of money over time. For an example, £100 a month over 30 years could end up being over £250,000. Not bad if you ask me. I'm not gonna lie, I just put this one in just because their name was fantastic. This comes from Polly Perchance Smith. And she says, make for a high-octane life during your best years, I'm sure. Well, Polly, on that note, I'm going to go edit this YouTube video when I could actually be in the room just next door, cuddling my girlfriend and my cockapoo, so I guess I am the fool at the end of the day. I've got to say, I really enjoyed making this YouTube video. It's been very different and real fun, so I hope you enjoyed it too. And if you did, please like the video below. As mentioned, here's a video about my concerns about the future effects on the stock market due to a declining population. And if that doesn't take your fancy, then how about a video from my good friend Tom Morgan over at That Finance Show, which is all looking at the 4% rule and why it might be broken. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.